What's going on, guys? J-Man back again, giving you another video on The Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 14, Twice as Far. So, interesting. This episode was quite tedious and slowly paced episode. We're back to Alexandria in normalcy, so to speak, after, the massacre of the Compound of Saviors. And yeah, it seems to be going well. We see that Morgan is forcing the idea of, not forcing, but he's built this own jail cell. I don't know how he's managed that. The steel bar I know, and I guess he didn't really build the plates around it or the concrete blocks, but he's trying to force this idea of a criminal justice system so they could stop being inhumane and ruthlessly killing people, from his perspective at least. And Rick is kind of not very lenient to the idea of that, but we'll see how that progresses, because we know Rick has this sort of altered philosophy after All Out War in the comics, and he throws Negan in the jail cell. So I would not be surprised if that was inevitable for Negan's character. Next we have the main synopsis, or the main premise of this episode is two factions split up. One faction is Daryl, Rosita, and Denise. The other is Abraham and Eugene. So what Denise, Daryl, and Rosita are doing is they're trying to attempt to get more of medication, anything that could benefit towards medical aid towards other Alexandrians. So they're trying to hit the jackpot. The reason why Denise tags along is because she wants to make sure that they are correct pharmaceuticals for the people. So they're out and about. It's very slowly paced until the last 10 minutes of the episode. I'll get into that. There's a lot of fidelity there. But yeah, we also see some Abraham and Eugene, which Eugene has had a change of heart. I mean, he's not this cowardice or pusillanimous character that we used to know him. Mullet slicked back, and he's got it in a ponytail now. And some people even called it a brony tail, which made me laugh. Basically, what Eugene is doing is that he's attempting to adapt like Abraham has. He's trying to kill walkers now. He's trying to be more beneficial to the group, which is kind of funny because it's ironic the circumstances that happen later, because they come across this sort of confined space area where Eugene has the idea of manufacturing ammunition for the group, which is a huge pivotal moment for his character in the graphic novel by Kirkman, because it's the start of their own military. And usually it was Rick and Eugene had the idea, but in the show it's just Eugene, which makes a lot more sense at the time well-being. So it's interesting to see how that's going to play out, because now they're going to have their own army and a lot of ammunition, so they can trade and just manufacture more. So that's going to be interesting how it takes place. But yeah, we see Eugene has kind of got this teenaged angst with Abraham. He's like, I'm adapted. I can do this now. I call dibs on killing this walker. And there's a walker in the area that they're in, and it's this grotesque looking walker, but it's got this hardened metal around, like a shaped bowl around its head. So Eugene's trying to hit it with the machete, and it's not cracking the solid metal. And eventually Abraham kills it for him, and he's like, you're not fit out for this thing. And there's this huge altercation, and Abraham's like, all right, you can handle yourself, I'll leave, you handle it. Then it plays off back to Denise, Daryl, and Rosita, and the primary focus on this is Denise, and I'll get to it in a second. Any comic book readers who read the comics knows what happens in this certain time period. Just based on the episode, the pacing, slowly paced, it seems ominous. That's giving this impression that something's bad is going to happen, and it does. So here's my problem with this episode. One of the weakest episodes in Season 6 so far, and here's why. Denise is not a structurally strong character. Now, I'm not trying to say, I mean, she is beneficial for the majority of Alexandria, and she is the only doctor, and that's a rare gem you'll have in that sort of dystopia. But as a character, she's not really, I mean, it just feels really superficial and shallow with her. I mean, there's nothing really tangible or fulfilling about her character that just makes it so engaging or engrossing. So it's just kind of like a little disappointing this episode, but we see why, what happens, the outcomes. She's giving this prep talk to Daryl and Rosita by saying, like, you guys are strong people. I'm not like you. Just kind of like list the indifferences between them, and an arrow goes straight through her eye, and as she struggles to finish her sentence, she just collapses. And you see Dwight's crew roll up on the premises, and Dwight comes out. He's got the half-ironed face that we know from the comics. He gets his face ironed by Negan. It's part of one of his principles in his community. I'll get into that later, but yeah, and it just looks grotesque. It looks like almost like Two-Face, but not as expansive on the half of the face. So I mean, it's there, but it's more around the ear, and his ear's just burned and dead flesh on his face, and it looks pretty badass. I'm like, this is Dwight. This is Dwight right here. I mean, it's not quite as excessive as it is in the Kirkman's comics, but it is just enough. So he rolls up with Eugene. He has Eugene captured. And, yeah, things go pretty bad. And Daryl's like, I should have killed you. Yeah, obviously. And we see Eugene go for the penis bite. That Tenacious D. Oh, my God. So many jokes after this episode about that. He bites the nutsack, the most sensitive part, male organ on the human body for the males, and he's just like going at it, and it's just crazy. They end up killing a few of Dwight's men, but the rest of Dwight's men and him retreat, leaving the crossbow behind, and the reunion between the crossbow and Daryl is finally there. So that was interesting to see. Yeah, they actually pulled that shit off, like, straight out of the comics. So that's why I said it matched fidelity for the source material. But yeah, by the end of the episode, I mean, it's a little saddening, the death of Denise. And we know that Tara isn't back yet, so she's on a supply run as well with Heath. So it would be interesting to see what happens. We know that Rick is informed what happened, and now they're on the lookout for any saviors going to attack their compound. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time.